Emotional transformation. This is chapter 6. Hello again. Thank you for being here. Just imagine that you have the capability of reducing the intensity or the level of the pain that results from your problems, from your conflicts. Just imagine that it is in your hands, in your power, through daily exercise to reduce the intensity. I'm not saying making them disappear. This requires longer process, and not all problems are here just to disappear, but they are here to teach us some lessons. They are here to help us change. They are here, to let ourselves know ourselves much better. As long as we deny our problems, there are parts in our personality that we know nothing about them. And when we don't know about them, they keep on causing us problems. And as long as we don't look inside, as long as we don't do some transformation of the energy that is stored inside the problem, we will keep on being strangers to ourselves and not being able to do something with these problems and other problems. We will remain relatively crippled, emotionally crippled. Emotional transformation helps you get better here. Get better in addressing your problems. Even if you don't know what is really behind them, we transform the energy that is stuck inside them, thereby allowing ourselves to take a better look at our problems and what they are trying to teach us. Chapter 6 is the third in the part 2. Part 2 is here to explain us how to do the first step. I say the most important step of emotional transformation, that is observing the difficulty from a clean, non-judgmental position, which is not easy to do. We are here to practice this. To practice this position, to practice the ability to look at our problem as if it is presented, reflected on a movie screen. To look at our problems while adding as much details as possible in order to reduce the trauma, reduce the anxiety, and allow ourselves to buy some time over there without giving up to the speed that usually anxiety is forcing us to go through, to the all or none, to the big drama. No. We take some time and we give more information and we calm ourselves down so we can move forward towards transformation. And now, chapter 6. The third and the last in this part, gives us another important angle of step 1. That is primary neutralizing our self-judgment and our sense of being a victim. This is a condition for the process to continue. We won't have good results if we stay stuck with self-judgment and the feeling of I am a victim. The purpose of step 1 is to neutralize these negative feelings. This is a purpose. It doesn't mean that we succeed in this totally every time, but this is our purpose. This is our goal. This is what we're trying to achieve. And the more I'm just standing there in front of my reflection in the mirror, standing there and just telling the story. Just telling the story. And it's okay if tears will come. It's okay. We can cry. But then we return to talking, to describing, to saying everything that we can about the problem. And it is best if we continue talking until we feel that the drama is a little bit lower. And it's many times in correlation to the amount of words that we will say to ourselves in this situation. So, I want you, just a moment, some disturbance here. I want you to see where we're headed to. I want you to see the most important goals that we can achieve here. Neutralizing self-judgment. Neutralizing the sense of being a victim. This is what we want to achieve. Now, try to imagine how important it is to be there, to move into this position where, despite of the pain, despite of the frustration or the helplessness or the sadness or the anger, you are able to tell the story. You are able to tell the story until you feel a little bit more balanced. You are able to tell the story without judging yourself. Just tell the story. This is the thing that is going on now. You are just reporting. And you are reporting not just because the information should get out of you, not just because it is important for you to expose the information for transformation, also because you need to reduce your self-judgment. Do you know that self-judgment is a huge part of the problem? We will deal with this more in the next chapters, where we are going to actually actively will reduce self-criticism. But for now, before we go directly to our inner critic and also lower its impact, we would like to do the right maneuver to reduce the self-judgment before we move on. And it is a condition. You need to achieve this goal. You may not succeed in this in the first time, the second time, but maybe in the fourth and fifth time, you will. You just follow the rules and you practice. You just tell the story. You just tell the story. And you try to prevent yourself from deteriorating into the position of a victim. So you see, right now, when you have this goal, and this is just the first out of 5 steps, you already are making a change. Because self-judgment and the sense of being victim, I would say they are 60, 70, 80% of the problem. Every problem. Because there is the problem, and there is what we feel about the problem, and how we address it. And as long as there is substantial amount of self-judgment, we cannot solve the problem, and the problem becomes much bigger than it is really than its real size. It becomes monstrous just because we made it much larger through our self-judgment, through the sense of being a victim. What is emotional transformation about? To move ourselves from the place where we feel that we cannot do anything about it, we are just victims, will help us, to move ourselves from the self-judgment into a position where we start moving the energy of the problem. That is, we are no longer that helpless. And we are responsible for the change, so there is no point in judging ourselves. There is a point to support ourselves. So, once you're telling the story, your job is to report it in a kind of cold fashion. You just say it, and you say it, and you say it, and you release the tension by reporting as much details as possible. remembering that your job is to tell the story with no self-judgment, and by trying as much as you can to reduce the sense of being a victim as much as you can. You do your best, and now you're ready to the next step.